Welcome to all the students of 12th class. Today we are going to discuss the main numericals of term 1 which may come in the form of MCQ in the term 1 exams which are going to held from 1st December. Yes student, my name is Sanjeev Chopra and I am teaching economics from a very long time. So today I am going to help you to solve the numericals which may come in the form of multiple choice questions in the term 1 exams which is scheduled by CBSE in December. Macroeconomics consists of 3 chapters basically: money and banking, then government budget, then balance of payment. In the first topic, money and banking, you may get a questions what is the formula of money supply. So you will please note down that money supply is the sum of currency or cash money issued by the central bank RBI plus demand deposit or credit money issued by the commercial bank. The sum total of the currency and coins issued by the RBI central bank and demand deposits issued by the commercial bank. The sum total of these two is called money supply basically. Money supply is a stock concept because money supply is always measured at a point of time. In the portion of banking, you may get questions: what is money multiplier? What is the formula of money creation by commercial bank? So please note down that money multiplier is the reciprocal of legal reserve ratio. So money multiplier is equal to 1 upon LRR. LRR stand for legal reserve ratio, which is the sum of cash reserve ratio and statutory liquidity ratio. The sum total of CRR plus SLR is called legal reserve ratio LRR, and 1 upon LRR is equal to money multiplier. Now, what is the formula of money creation by commercial bank or credit creation by commercial bank? The formula is money creation by commercial bank is equal to primary deposit or initial deposit into money multiplier, or we can say primary deposit or initial deposit into 1 upon LRR, because 1 upon LRR is the formula of money multiplier. Now, in the chapter of government budget, you may get a questions in the form of formula like how we can calculate revenue deficit. So revenue deficit is equal to revenue expenditure minus revenue receipts. When revenue expenditure is more than the revenue receipt, it leads to revenue deficit in the government budget. Then you may get a second MCQ in the form of formula: how can we estimate fiscal deficit in the government budget? So the formula of fiscal deficit, you may not note down students, that which is very important question. In case of lack of information, fiscal deficit is equal to borrowings and other liabilities, or we can say debt creating capital receipts. But otherwise, the formula of fiscal deficit is total expenditure minus total receipts excluding borrowings and other liabilities. So total expenditure means the revenue expenditure as well as capital expenditure, minus total expenditure means total receipts, total expenditure, that is revenue expenditure plus capital expenditure, minus total receipts, revenue receipts plus capital receipts excluding borrowings and other liabilities. This will give us fiscal deficit. Similarly, you may get a questions based on the formula. How can we estimate primary deficit? So primary deficit is equal to fiscal deficit minus interest payment. Primary deficit is equal to fiscal deficit minus interest payment. You may get some numerical figures, numerical data, that fiscal deficit is this much amount, interest payment is this much amount. Now what will be the primary deficit? So you must basically need to use the formula. Okay, primary deficit is equal to fiscal deficit minus interest payment. In this way you can easily solve the numericals and you can solve the MCQ which is based on the numerical formula. Then in the chapter of balance of payment, you may get a questions like what is the value of balance of trade, and balance of trade is equal to export of physical goods minus import of physical goods. You may get a numerical value like export is this much amount, import is this much amount. Now estimate balance of trade. So balance of trade is equal to export of visible or physical goods minus import of physical or visible goods. If export is more than the import, it is a case of surplus BOT or favorable balance of trade. If export is less than import, it is a case of deficit BOT or unfavorable balance of trade. And if export is exactly equal to import, it is a case of balanced BOT or equilibrium balance of trade. Now, you may get a question based on how can we estimate balance of payment. Balance of payment basically is the difference between receipt of foreign exchange from export of goods and services minus payment of foreign exchange for import of goods and services. There are four components rather in the balance of payment. First is the balance of visible items, which is the difference between export of visible or physical goods minus import of visible or physical goods, plus balance of services, that is export of services minus import of services, plus transfer receipts minus transfer payments, balance of unilateral transfers, and the last is balance of income, receipt of income minus payment of income for the services. The sum of these four, or you can say receipt of foreign exchange from export of goods and services minus payment of foreign exchange for import of goods and services. Goods basically visible items and services basically means invisible items, and invisible items also includes unilateral payment or unilateral transfer payments. So balance of payment is a set of two accounts, current account and capital account. The equilibrium or disequilibrium in the balance of payment is ascertained on the basis of current account. If receipt from export of goods and services is more than the payment for import of goods and services, if R is more than P, receipt is more than payment, it is a case of favorable or surplus current account or surplus balance of payment. On the other hand, if the receipt from export of goods and services is less than the payment for import of goods and services, R is less than P, it is a case of unfavorable balance of payment or unfavorable current account of balance of payment or deficit in the current account of balance of payment. In case of surplus or deficit, the current account is closed by transferring its balance to capital account. And capital account is balanced by accommodating items, accommodating transactions, because balance of payment is always balanced. Balance of payment records inflow of capital and outflow of capital. Now, so balance of trade is not always balanced. Balance of trade is not always balanced, because if export is more than import of visible items, it is a case of favorable or surplus balance of trade. If export is less than import, then it is a case of unfavorable or deficit balance of trade. And if export of visible item is exactly equal to import of visible item, then it is a case of equilibrium or balanced balance of trade. But balance of payment is a wider concept, comprehensive concept. Balance of payment is always balanced, because if there is disequilibrium in the balance of current account, then the current account is closed by transferring its balance, deficit or surplus, into the capital account, and capital account is balanced by accommodating transactions. So balance of payment is always balanced, and balance of payment is a wider concept. Now, you may get a questions from the foreign exchange rate determination. What is foreign exchange? Foreign exchange means all the currencies other than the domestic currency is called foreign exchange. For example, for the Indian economy, all the currency other than the Indian rupee is foreign exchange, and foreign exchange rate is determined by the market forces of demand and supply in the foreign exchange market. Then it is called flexible or floating foreign exchange rate. But when the foreign exchange rate is fixed by the government, then it is a case of fixed foreign exchange rate. In the case of fixed foreign exchange rate, which is when the foreign exchange rate is fixed by the government, when the price of the currency of one currency in terms of the other currency is fixed by the government, it is a case of fixed foreign exchange rate. In this case, if there is a change in the price of domestic currency in terms of the foreign currency, then it is known as devaluation or revaluation. Like in 1991, when the Indian government decided to make devaluation of Indian rupee in terms of dollar, the price of the value of the Indian rupee was decreased. Suppose $1 is equal to rupees 25, and then $1 became equal to rupees 40. To increase the export, to generate more foreign exchange in the Indian economy, this step was made, and devaluation was successful by then Finance Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh and Prime Minister Mr. P.V. Narasimha Rao in the new economic policy of liberalization, privatization and globalization. Liberalization in place of licensing Raj, privatization in place of permit Raj, and globalization in place of quota Raj was very successful, and the foreign exchange crisis was solved successfully by the new economic policy of liberalization, privatization and globalization. Foreign direct investment and foreign portfolio investment and foreign institutional investment was attracted in the Indian economy, and foreign exchange reserve crisis was solved. Now, in case of the flexible foreign exchange rate, when the demand of foreign exchange and supply of foreign exchange fix the exchange rate, it is called flexible or floating exchange rate. And when in the case of flexible or floating exchange rate, due to the changes in the market forces of demand and supply, price of the Indian currency fall down, it is not devaluation, it will be regarded as depreciation of Indian rupee. And when the price of the Indian rupee rises in terms of the foreign currency, it will be called appreciation of the Indian rupee. So these are basically some concepts which you need to use in the examination. If you have any doubt relating to the formulas or the content which is discussed in this video, you may WhatsApp me. My name is Sanjeev Chopra, and I teach economics, and my mobile number is 9811508718 or 931-971-7899. You may contact me with WhatsApp or message, and you may ask your queries. I will be very happy to answer your queries. Thank you very much. In the next video, we will discuss the various numericals based on these 3 chapters of the macroeconomics for 12th class students: money and banking, government budget, and balance of payment. Okay, bachcho. So thank you very much. Thank you very much.